Oh, God. Is bro really not gonna switch, man? Has he still not picked a character yet? Oh my God, he's gonna throw. Why wouldn't he just give him the? Bro, he has Lord. Just give it to him. He's gonna egg him on. You've got to be kidding. YouTube, what's going on, man? It's Father Dark, and for the first time ever on this channel, we're going to be doing something that, like I said, we haven't ever done before, and that's going to be making a part two to a video that I've already made and a topic that I've already covered in the past. But I do feel like that I needed to expound a little bit on my thoughts and opinions and stuff like that, because I think the first video, a lot of people seem to misinterpret what I was saying a little bit. And as you can see from the clips that I put in the beginning, which I'm going to touch on those a little bit further on in the video, you can see that, this has kind of been my ranked experience lately in regards to the matchmaking and people that I've been getting paired up with, right? And, in the last video that I made, a lot of the comments were either really in agreement with people saying, yeah, no, it's really definitely rigged. These are my experiences. This is what I've done. I go on these really long losing streaks, then I go on these really long winning streaks. And it just kind of always seems like they keep me at 50%. And then you had a lot of other people that said, oh, well, you should just be able to carry the team. If you're so good, you should just be able to carry them. And, I want to talk about all of these things, right? And I want to kind of elaborate further, because I think that a lot of times when, you make a video, especially if, the longest videos I usually make are, I think the longest video I've ever made was 40 minutes, but usually I try to max them out around 20, at the most to me 30 minutes, right? And it's kind of hard a lot of times to kind of summarize everything and cover every little thing. And it's very easy to watch someone, a video of someone for 30 minutes and then kind of sit back and go, oh, I'm going to nitpick this. I'm going to take this and analyze this and say all that, which I don't have a problem with. If anything, at the end of the day, the more that people engage with it, the further it pushes the video or whatever into the algorithm, right? It's just engagement, and that's what any content creator wants. But at the end of the day, though, like I said, I don't want to have to sit here and go through every single comment and defend something or explain something or whatever, right? So I thought it would be better to just kind of make another video and talk about it. And, another thing too is that I noticed the other day, this is someone that comes across my timeline on X all the time, Twitter, X, whatever you like to call it. I prefer to call it Twitter, but nonetheless though, SK. Now SK on Twitter, they're known as SK Overwatch or SKOW. And I didn't know who this person was prior. I've seen them come up numerous times now. And it wasn't until the other day that they came up and they made a point, right? They said Marvel Rivals ranked is genuinely a horrible coin flip every single game. It's way too easy to climb imposters in every rank with sub 50% win rate and climbing really high because they played a lot. You lose if you get one or more of these players. Rank reset won't fix it. So, like I said, I don't have any issue with anybody. Whenever I bring someone up, it's just me using them to make a point. So don't think that, if you're into this individual that, there's any kind of beef or tension or turmoil or anything. I don't do that here. We just talk and we just have conversations, right? And, this person is very respected in regards to, obviously they're from Overwatch, but even in Marvel Rivals, they're very respected. They're looked at as a pro. So I feel like people kind of take what they say more seriously versus that me, someone who has, just came into the genre of hero shooters. And, a lot of people will, like the last video, they looked at the gameplay, even though I was one of the top performers, if not the top performer, I was a healer, had 30K healing, 23 eliminations. We still won the round. I had people nitpicking where I was placing healing bubbles and stuff. They're just like, well, half the bubble was in the bus. Okay, that's fine. I'm still learning how to play the game. But at the same time, the intention was to heal me and the Thor that were standing next to me. And if me and the Thor got healed, who cares if half the bubble was in the bus? I feel like some of those people just kind of wanted to nitpick. And I don't really have any issue with that because, like I said, that's just engagement. It only makes my job easier once you do that, whether it's positive or negative engagement. It still pushes the video further into the algorithm. Nonetheless, though, like I said, it's just kind of wild to me that a lot of people seem to think that there isn't some kind of extra stuff going on behind the scene in regards to the algorithm, because that's how algorithms work. The whole point is to keep you engaged, is to keep you there, right? And with gaming, it's a little bit harder. It's different from like a YouTube algorithm where it just shows you everything that you want to see to keep you on the application longer. The same thing with a lot of other video sites and stuff, TikTok, etc. Twitter, they do the same exact thing. Every prominent pretty much site, page, whatever, has some form of like algorithm that shows you things that are going to be relevant to use to keep you there longer, right? Me and my wife's For You pages on any site that we go to, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, whatever, completely different. She sees things that she's into. She likes to watch like ghost shows and Korean dramas and stuff. So that's all she sees on her page. Me, I'm into comics, gaming, sci-fi, stuff about outer space, National Geographic. Those are the things that I'm really interested in. So when you scroll through my page, those are the main things. Even starting to ask you now, like, what are the things that you want to see? Because we'll filter out all the other stuff, because clearly if you don't want to see that stuff, it's one thing to discover something new. It's another thing when it's just, you're just being flooded with stuff you don't care about, right? But with gaming, it's a lot harder, simply because in gaming, you're going to have to lose sometimes, and you're going to have to win. And if you're playing competitively, what should happen is that you should naturally kind of like excel until you get to that point where you've reached kind of like your threshold. You know what I mean? Once you've reached your skill ceiling, or ceiling, then that's when you should start to struggle. Right. And for me, that ceiling has been pretty much every rank. When I was in bronze, I did not understand how to play rank. I only played quick play. So like I just kind of did whatever I wanted to do, play by myself, made these really, whatever decisions. Then I started realizing, okay, well, I'm gonna have to adapt to different people. I'm gonna have to counter people. Right. Then, you advance up to silver, whatever, not a big deal. It's just silver, same thing. You have to learn different things. You have to adjust. You have to change your strategy. You get into gold. The things that are working in silver are no longer working in gold, right? Then you get up to plat, et cetera, until you reach that cap, right? And right now I'm at that cap. I'm having to learn how to play different characters, because there's certain characters, like I'm saying reach that cap, but like right now, it's Captain America. I'm struggling like against Captain America's, right? If they're really aggressive and I'm a healer, they just keep rushing the back line, and people on my team aren't paying attention to them. It's really hard for me to like deal with that, right? So it's like there's certain things that maybe weren't an issue before, or that people weren't using, and now you're having to learn how to adapt to them, right? And the best way for me to learn how to adapt to a character is to play that character, so I understand what that character's strengths or weaknesses are. Who does that character struggle against? So then I can just counter that character, And the point that I'm making overall is that there's a lot of things that I've learned. So I'm not saying that like I'm a perfect player or that I'm super skilled or anything like that. I am not a top 500. I'm not a whatever the after GM, all the different, ranks and stuff like that are. That's not what I am. Right. And I'm fully aware of that. Now, do I feel like I can keep grinding and learning and growing as time goes on? Yes. But at the same time, though, there is this hindrance of the matchmaking, and we have to be real here. Right? As you saw in those two clips, those are just from yesterday, hand to God. Those are from yesterday, right? And the thing is that my PC, I need for the PC that I use to record, because I use one for gaming, the other one's just for recording and streaming on, right? I need to get a bigger hard drive, like go up to like a 2 terabyte or something. Right now, it's just only like 500 gigs or something, because it's just used for recording and streaming. So, every 2 days or so, I go through and I just delete anything that I'm not going to use for content. And, that's it. And the other day I had just refreshed, right? But there were plenty of games prior to that, and I didn't plan on making this video again, so I would have obviously saved like a few of the different ones. But there was numerous different times the day before, and this has been happening, right? But like I said, didn't plan on coming back to this topic, so I didn't save them, right? But you keep having these. I keep having these situations where I will have 3 or 4 games that are normal games where people play normally, no one's toxic. If people will wait and they'll say, hey, did you want to play this hero? Then I'll switch to something else. I know plenty of other ones, right? People will say, I can play anything. Maybe someone sees that you have a Lord icon and they don't have it. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that someone's better because they have a Lord icon or not, right? But most people will just assume, hey, if you're a Moon Knight and you're Lord with Moon Knight, I'm going to switch, right? And then, it could be other things too. It's just the way people will work together and focus on things. If people notice that their healers are getting dived in the back line, they will just turn around and help out, right? If the cap is running at you and you're a tank and he jumps over you and goes straight to your back line, they will turn around and help, right? There's a lot of different things that just kind of make it a cohesive team to where the wins just kind of come easy and smooth, right? Not necessarily saying that certain players are better than other players, but in a team-based game, you need your team to work as a team to win. You know, I tell my wife all the time, you can have, if you're playing a football game, right, you can have the best quarterback in human history, right? The best quarterback ever. He does not miss. He does everything perfectly, right? I'm not a sports guy, but like still I understand like the similarities, right? And let's say this guy can throw all the way from one end of the field to the next, right? But if there's a receiver that is absolutely terrible and he can't catch the ball for anything, what good is the quarterback? You can be the best tank player in history. You can be the best Bucky in history, right? But if your team is constantly just being staggered and they're just running out, they're taking their own fights, the healers aren't healing, they're trying to DPS, just all this different stuff, you're not going to be able to go against a team that is just as skilled, a team of people that are equally as skilled as you are, and they're all that skilled. You're not going to be able to go against that team and perform the same way you would normally. You need your healers to be healing. You need your tanks to be eating damage, right? If you got a Doctor Strange, he needs to be opening that shield and using that to kind of be able to create that space for you. Whatever the case is, right? Everyone has a role and everyone has to play that role effectively, you know? And then sometimes, like I said, there's just certain things that you have to like understand and say, okay, well, let's say they just eliminated us all, but it was 1 by 1. All right. Instead of me pushing back up by myself and being staggered, let me just wait 2 seconds for my team to come out of spawn and then we'll push up together, right? Little like nuanced things like that you kind of have to start understanding to be able to play effectively, you know? But like I was saying, you know, you have these games where everything goes fine. Everything is regular. And then you have these games where even if your team, there's 2 types, right, that I've noticed, right? There is the people that I feel like shouldn't be in that rank to begin with and were either carried or, you know, by friends who made a Smurf account or they've just played so much because you're winning, you're getting more points for winning than you are for losing. So they just keep grinding. And they get lucky and they get carried through other people like on the team that are just, you know, really, really good or whatever. Or you have people that, you know, they just kind of load in and it's like they're irritated, you know, they're tired, whatever, they're not in a good mood, or they're just there to troll. And like those are like the clips in the beginning where people will literally leave a match before it even starts because, they didn't get the character they wanted. Or they'll just throw the match because someone in the chat said something to them they didn't like. And that was a point that I was going to make earlier in regards to a video that, you know, I could have put in here as well, where, you know, I had a guy who, you know, everything was fine, you know, in the beginning of the match. We were playing it. We were on defend at first. They got to the point, but they only had like a minute or 45 seconds or something left by the time that they actually, you know, got to the finish line, right? Whatever. And by the time they were done, when we were switching sides to defend, one of the guys in the chat told the guy that was playing Loki, he said, hey, man, you know, Loki's not really providing much for us right now. You're not really doing that much with him. Can you switch over to somebody else? And the guy goes, what? I was healing you the whole game. And he goes, yeah, but like, could you use like a more effective healer or something like that? Whatever, however he worded it. And the guy immediately just goes, you know what? No, you know what? I can't wait to see you guys lose without Loki, you know, and he proceeds to stand in the spawn and just keep firing at the ground as soon as you walk out of the spawn, you know, and obviously we end up losing because we're going against an equally skilled team. And one of our teammates just stopped playing and threw the match because, you know, he didn't get the recognition that he wanted. Then like I said in the beginning clips, those are just 2 clips from yesterday, right? And this happens so many other times. It's just like I said, I was not planning on making another video about this, so it's not like when I know I'm going to be making a video about something, I will purposely like clip stuff and save it and label it, and then I'll come back to it later, throw it in the editor, bada bing, bada boom, right? But yeah, there was numerous times where people wanted a character. Maybe there's 2 guys that want to play Spider-Man, and one of the guys has the Lord icon, the other one doesn't. He goes, bro, are you serious? You're not going to let me play? You know I'm better than you because I have the Lord icon. And the other guy's like, nah, man, I don't care if you got Lord icon or not. I'm going to play him. Then the Spidey goes 2 and like 17, and that's a throw because if you're going 2 and 17, why are you not just switching to someone else? But it's pride. It's like, no, I want to keep playing Spider-Man, so I'm going to keep playing Spider-Man. I'm not going to change. And the other guy, he's now throwing the match because he didn't get the character that he wanted, and he probably doesn't even know how to play anybody else or has put 0 time and energy into it. And even if he does, he's still throwing it because he's just not doing anything. He's sitting back in spawn, just hanging out, and seems to care at all, like doesn't seem to care at all. If he gets reported for throwing the match and gets restricted from matchmaking, he's like, whatever, I don't even like this game. Whoa. The level of frustration, right? And then people have the audacity to tell me, oh man, you should have just carried your team. I am playing ranked. This is not quick play. There's not bots being thrown in. These are people who know what they're doing. And they're going to smell blood in the water. They're going to say, oh, one of the guys just quit. Or one of the guys AFK and he's throwing. And the thing is that this does not just happen to me. I'm not one of those people where I'm like, this only happens to me. That is not the case. The thing is that once I've had so many losses, because the thing is too, is that like, just want to say before I even get into that, I'm the kind of person where, I'm persistent, but I'm also not dumb. If I've had a day where I'm almost about to like derank because it's just like loss after loss after loss, either I'm tilted, I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm not using the right character for that day. Maybe I'm just getting thrown in with a lot of people that are like good counters to whatever it is that I'm doing or my play style or whatever. I'll go in a quick play. I get off, go spend time with family, take the dog for a walk, whatever, right? That's kind of my rule is like, I am not going to derank. That's just my thing. If I'm in a certain rank, I'm not going to go below that. I don't mind going from like, 1 to 2 or 3 or whatever, but I'm not going to go from like diamond to plat. I'm not going to go from plat to gold or whatever, right? Like whatever rank that I'm in, I'm not doing that, right? But at the same time though, like I said, after so many losses in a row, it's like a very specific amount, the game will start throwing me wins. They'll start putting me in with people where the same exact thing is happening on their side. I played a match just a couple days ago and I was almost like dumbfounded how this Namor just kept coming up to where we were. We were like in that one, like the hall map or whatever, the one where, you gotta come downward or whatever from like the little throne part. And I forget the name of it, but this Namor just kept standing in doorways. And he wasn't doing anything. He was just standing there. And at one point I turned around and it kind of threw me off because you kind of get used to like, gaming's like a dance, right? It's like you do one thing, they do another. You do that, you move left, they're moving right, whatever, right? And I would turn around and I'm getting ready to like fire on this guy. And he was just standing there. And it would kind of like throw me off. Like I had to look at him and go, is this guy actively throwing the match like in front of me? Is he scared? Like what's going on? What are you doing in this rank if you're acting like that? And come to find out at the end of the match, the enemy team starts going, yo, report this guy, blah, blah, whatever his name was. Yeah, he was throwing the match. And I don't even think that it was, usually they'll say it like if it was something where like, oh, he said this or he was mad because someone picked his character. No, it was like the guy just loaded in to throw the match. He just kept coming close to the point where we were, but standing in a doorway, just enough to where we could see him and then get eliminated over and over again. Like I said, I've seen so many different instances on the enemy team where they were fighting the whole entire game. You could tell from the beginning of the match, like, oh, this is going to be an easy win because these people are just, fighting amongst themselves. They're having a disagreement. One person knows that they should be switching off of a character because let's say it's it's an Iron Man or something, and we have a Punisher on our team, and this Iron Man just refuses to switch. Whatever the case may be, there's so many different types of cases of things people are doing to just throw these matches. Then you have the trolls. You have the people that just load in and they just start randomly talking to people that aren't even saying anything to them and just purposely trying to trigger them to lose the match. And that I really don't understand. Like I can kind of understand a little bit like if you get irritated with a teammate because they specifically, you feel like slighted you somehow. That I can somewhat kind of, not saying I agree with it obviously, but I can kind of like there's some type of motive. You get what I mean? It's different when you just load into a ranked match and you're not talking about bronze or silver or gold match. You know what I mean? You're talking about you had to put energy in to get here and you're just throwing it away just for like shits and giggles, I guess. Like I don't know what the point of that is. Maybe I'm too old and my brain just doesn't work that way, right? Like there has to be a reason for stuff for me to want to do it, right? There has to be some type of logic behind it. And when there is none, it just really throws me off. But the thing is that, like I said, there is definitely something going on with the matchmaking, right? And it's not normal. Like it's not normal at all. It would be different if this stuff was more like, I guess even, like you could say, like you had so many matches that were one way and then, you get a couple more that are this way, but it's like there's like a specific amount, right? It's like after I've had 4 or 5 wins, I know it's like they're about to throw me in with people that literally get 0 eliminations or maybe get 1 or 2, right? And the enemy team is going to have 20 something or 30 something eliminations, right? They'll start throwing me in with team members who specifically want the character that I play as, but they don't know how to play that character. I had a guy the other day, he begs me, he sees that I have the Lord icon. He begs me for Cloak and Dagger. I didn't even say anything. He said, Cloak and Dagger is all I know how to play. Literally loads in, he's just like, yeah, I need Cloak and Dagger, bro. Then I switch over I switch over to something. I think it was like Namor or a tank or something like that. I switch over and he goes, yeah, good boy. Then he takes Cloak and Dagger, proceeds to go out and doesn't even heal anybody. He just switches over to Cloak, tries to eliminate a tank. He literally tries to 1v1 a tank with Cloak. Then when he goes back and he goes, Yeah, you can have Cloak and Dagger. I don't even care anymore. I just what are we doing, man? You know, and people tell me I should be able to carry through this type of behavior. You know, I should be able to just, you know, whatever. And no, you're not carrying that. Could I go down to lower ranks and not care what my teammates do and pick certain characters and feel like I could carry? Yes. That's no different than a top 500 in my rank. Yes, they probably could carry it. And the thing is that I fully understand that there are people who are just really good at hero shooters. That is their thing. They are pros, right? I fully understand that. And yes, do they have a better time getting up to certain ranks? Yes, but even when they get up to those ranks, they still have to play with other people, which is understandable. I feel like at a certain point in most ranks, even in Call of Duty, as good as I was at Call of Duty, once I got up to Crimson level, I still had to be like, okay, well, now I got to actually at least have one other person on my team that can work with me or whatever, or just isn't selling the whole entire game, right? But anything prior to that, you know, Diamond, Platinum, et cetera, I was able to just play it by myself and get up to that point and have zero problem, right? And Crimson would like be the equivalent of Grandmaster in this game, right? So yes, I understand that there are certain people that like they just understand it better, you know, they are much more skilled, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, that two things can be true at the same time. It doesn't detract from the fact that there is something seriously wrong with the matchmaking. I don't mean wrong like there's a bug in it. It was designed that way. It was designed that way. You know, after you've suffered so many losses, they say, okay, well, he's probably about to get off. We know Dark at this point. Dark is going to he's got about 4 or 5 losses. He's getting close to you know, deranking. You know, hey, let's put him in with some people that actually know how to play the game now. And the thing is that I just want to specify as well. I have zero problem losing. Zero problem. I'm playing ranked, and I understand that losses are going to come with that. Sorry, my wife called me. But the point I was making was that, you know, I have zero problems losing it all whatsoever. That should be expected with ranked. It's going to happen. You should be being placed against people that are equally as skilled as you, if not slightly better, right? With the exception of people that are still climbing to their actual rank, right? So you might get a couple people in there that are just way better, right? But the only thing that I'm asking is for that to be fair on both sides. For people that are equally as skilled as me. When I say skilled, I don't just mean like you are at the game. I mean like mentally kind of skilled, right? Like people that don't just load in and have no problem leaving the match simply because someone picked a character that they liked. Bro, there's 37 characters in the game. Pick someone else. That's all you got to do. Just pick another person. More than likely the next round, you will be able to get that character again that you like. Why is it that serious to you that you're willing to just sell someone else's SR? Like, I don't understand, you know? Like I said, you know, we have to understand that, like I said, two things can be true at the same time. Are there some people that can, you know, solo grind up to certain ranks? Yes. But at the same time, though, those are very few and far in between, right? And that's fine. You know, you got LeBron James is out there. You got Michael Jordan's out there, right? But those are like 1%, maybe even less than 1%, right? Of the play. I mean, obviously the less than 1% is 500 out of like millions of people that play. It's way less than 1%, right? And to sit back and act like everyone should just be part of that percentage of people is absolutely preposterous, man. Like it's insane, right? And it's not the case, you know. And to sit here and act like that we all aren't dealing with this, I know it can't just be me. I'm not the only person. It's not Marvel Rivals is not sitting here. NetEase is not sitting here going, yo, we just got to troll Dark and we got to make sure that we constantly put them in 4 or 5 wins and then 4 and 5 losses back to back, right? In situations that there is no way he is going to win this. And even if he could carry, we're gonna make sure we put him in with people that, you know, literally just get mad and just find a reason to leave. It's just not the case. You know, I watch, you know, some of the top streamers all the time, right? Like when I'm just eating or, you know, before I lay down and go to bed or whatever, you know, I might throw on like a tournament, you know, or just top streamer, you know, whatever. And sometimes just random streamers that play the game. They're just really good, right? And one thing that I noticed is a common thing amongst all of them is that they all deal with the same thing. They all go through these super long losing streaks, followed by really high winning streaks or long winning streaks, right? Like, this isn't something that I'm just dealing with. This isn't something that people at the lower levels are just dealing with. It's what they're doing. And I'm not saying that you should be winning or losing every single match. That's not what I'm saying. That's not the point that I'm making. The point is that it is very clear that there's like some type of manipulation going on in the matchmaking. That they are trying as hard as they can to put you in situations that feel impossible. And that is not how rank should work. It should be close, because once you've reached your threshold, that means you should be going against people that are just as equally as skilled as you. So it shouldn't be like these massive blowouts, because what are we doing here? At my rank, people should know and understand the same things that I understand. You should understand that if you are playing a flying character and you see a Punisher on the other team, just switch. You're not going to win that. It's a Punisher. He was designed to take out flyers. If you see a Namor, get off of the flyer. You know, if you're playing a dive character and people switch to dive counter characters, get off dive. If you're playing Hawkeye and you're maybe a good shot, but they just keep diving you and you don't know what to do once you get dived up close, people that pick Scarlet Witch and go like, I'm not sorry, Scarlet Witch, Black Widow, and go like 4-18 and refuse to switch even when their teammates are begging them to, or just switch to anyone else. I know you could get more value out of any other character. And it's just like, nah, man. Nah, I said to myself I was going to solo climb with Black Widow, and that's what I'm going to do. I refuse to believe that it's just coincidence, right? That every couple of games after I've won, and somebody in a comment in the previous video, they made a really good point. They said that, not everyone, when they load in is the same way. Right now, I'm making this video before I jump into some rank for the day to make some content for, tomorrow that I'll be uploading for you guys. Right in front of me, there's water, there's Red Bull. Prior to making this video, I jumped on my treadmill in my house. I ran for 30, 40 minutes, did 200 push-ups, 200 sit-ups. I've had, 8-9 hours of sleep since last night. I made sure I went to bed around 9 o'clock or whatever. Got up this morning, took my kids to school, came back, had a couple of oranges. Oranges are supposed to make it to where it has some type of reaction in your brain that makes you have a better day. So I do that. Wife's on the way home soon from work in the DMV. She'll be bringing some actual food. I'll make sure that before I get into the game that I'm really where I should be at mentally, physically, all of that kind of stuff, right? Because I don't want to be a detriment to anyone else in the game. But at the same time, though, I'm aware that there's a lot of people, maybe they're having a bad day. They got other stuff on their mind. Maybe they had them a cold one, or they're doing some other type of extracurricular activity that's slowing down their motor functions, or just whatever, right? Maybe, sometimes you just perform badly. I make mistakes as well. A lot of times I perform badly in a match, and I've done everything that I could. Maybe it's just whatever it is. Sometimes people see the YouTube in my name and they just focus me. It's happened numerous times. Sometimes I do that to people. Sometimes I'll just see somebody, I'm just like him, and I just focus that individual. And I know that in the chat later at the end of the game, they'll say, yo, you only were going for me. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those days or whatever, right? And like I said, sometimes people will see me and they'll just be like, oh, he's a YouTuber. I got to focus him. And I'm not a YouTuber in the sense of I'm a pro. I'm the best guy out here. Ain't nobody better than me. No, I just make content. I just happen to play Marvel Rivals. That's just what it is. But I fully understand that I'm an intermediate player, in my opinion, right? Am I getting better every week? Yes, because that is the whole point, is to every week to get better, learn things that you didn't know the week before so that you can evolve and grow, as a person. And it's not just in the game, that's in life. No matter how old I get, I'm still learning things. I'm still learning to admit my faults and understand that, to be my own biggest critic, right? And that's how you get better at anything, whether it's being a father, a husband, a brother, a son, a gamer, just a random neighbor, person on the street, whatever. Sometimes I have to take a step back and go, wait a second, what could I have done in that situation, right? But let's say you're just minding your business and somebody just walks up to you and just slaps the ever-loving, stuffing out of you, right? Did you do anything wrong in that situation? No. There's nothing to think like, yo, what did I do wrong in that? Now, you could say I should have been paying more attention to my surroundings, or maybe I should just assume that every single person I see on the street is just going to walk up to me and backhand me. But at the same time, though, that's just not the case. If you're sitting in your house minding your business and a dude just drives his car down the street and the car comes flying through your living room, right? Was there anything that you could have done in that situation? No, right? Now, but like most situations in life, there are a lot of times where you can look at it, you can say, okay, well, with this situation, I could have done this, or I should have done that, or whatever the case is, right? But then there's some situations where you're just you're dealt a very bad deck, right? A very bad, set of cards, whatever, however you want to word it, right? And there's just nothing you can do about that. If I load into a match and my teammates are beefing off rip over Moon Knight, which is wild to me, when there's 37 characters in the game currently, and they're only going to add more, right? And you're beefing over one character, the match is already doomed, man. There's nothing I can do. There's nothing I'm going to be able to say to you like, hey, guys, why don't we just chill out? No, these people came in here looking for the smoke. That's what they wanted. They're looking for a reason to throw a match. So, I don't know. But like I said, I already know you guys. Let me know in the comments what you think, what your thoughts and opinions are, if they've changed since the last video, if you're starting to feel like it's getting worse, or, the people that feel like, oh, you should just be able to carry every match, man. Oh, this is just a conspiracy theory and there's nothing going on. I've heard this in every game that I played. The reason why you're hearing it in every game that you play is because there's some bit of truth to every myth and legend, right? There's some bit of truth. Now, is the whole thing completely true? No. But like I said, for some people, it is just you. For a lot of people, it is just you. And even for me, a lot of times when I lose, and I'm able to admit that, I do stuff all the time. I had a match yesterday where I was playing it as Invisible Woman, right? And sometimes you just, after you've been playing so many matches, you kind of get locked in and you're just kind of like, when I say locked in, I just mean like you're kind of like on autopilot. I don't mean locked in like you're on top of your game. I mean, it's just like I was doing good, but I made this mistake that ended up costing me the match. And I really had to think about it for a second. Like, why would you do something like that? It was so dumb. Scarlet Witch, she was coming around the corner. She was doing her ult. There was like a little wall there with 2 doors protecting her, right? And she's doing her ultimate, and as soon as I heard her doing her ultimate, and because I was weak too, and a couple other people were really weak, and I couldn't heal everybody fast enough, I go to put down my ultimate, right? Not realizing that it's like I knew it, but it's like my brain just hadn't registered it, that Scarlet Witch's ultimate is a one-shot. It doesn't matter what type of healing you have up. You're not going to be able to like counter that, just like Magneto's ult or whatever, right? And, as soon as I died from it, I immediately thought like, that was so dumb. Why did you do that? Like, why would you do that? Don't ever do that again. You know what I mean? Like, I had to say it multiple times. Don't ever do that again. You hear that, you get out of there. You know what I'm saying? If you're not cloak or something, you can't completely like shield yourself from it. No healing ult is going to save you from it. When you hear it, just get away from it. Just simple as that. Anybody that doesn't, well, that was on them. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do. And like I said, there's multiple times throughout the day where I have to really tell myself like, okay, this is not what you do. If you're dealing with this issue, don't handle it this way because that's not what works, right? Fully aware of that. And I do believe that other people have to start being the same way. If you're hard stuck in bronze, I'm not going to lie to you, man. It's more than likely something you're doing. If you're hard stuck even in silver, it's probably something that you're doing. It's probably not just the game at that point, right? Because really you should be able to like get out of those ranks, in my opinion, right? But at the same time, though, once you get up to a certain level, that should not be happening anymore. People should have, that's the whole point of the different ranks, is to kind of filter out the people that are willing to adapt and grow and learn versus the people that aren't. And putting me in with people that seem like they just started playing the game yesterday, that there's something else going on. How they even made it to that rank to begin with, whether it was getting carried because the game felt bad for them and wanted to give them a participation trophy, whatever. But we gotta do better than that, man. Like, and the thing is too, is that, I know I already said like I was going to wrap this up, but I want to add a few more things in. The thing is that from a business standpoint, because I am a fair and objective person, right? From a business standpoint, right? If you're making a game, the competitive, like the super competitive people in the game make up an extremely small amount. They're like 5% or less, the people that are like super competitive and take it very seriously, and content creators, all that kind of stuff. We're a very small percentage of the game. When I got up to like plat, I'm pretty sure it said that I was like ranked higher than like 80% of the people on my server, which is like the Northeast server or whatever. And that's insane. And it only, every rank that I go up a little bit, it only tells me that I'm like way fewer percentage of like the people, right? The majority of people just load in and play quick play, right? So let's just say it's just 75 or 80% of people that are like, they're just casual players, right? Why would you only cater to 20% of the people in your game? and just kind of like, disregard the large majority of people to cater to the minority. That's not the smart thing to do in any type of business decision, right? In a business decision, it's called a business decision because it's not personal. It's simply what is going to financially benefit us the most. Do you think the developers want to work on a game where they're making a third of what they could be making? No. If you went to your job right now and they were like, yo, listen, you can make chicken sandwiches or you can make burgers. Now, more people eat burgers than they do chicken sandwiches, right? Like it's a 3-to-1 ratio. So you can either make $60 an hour or you can make $20 an hour. Which one are you going to choose? The $60, because it's not personal. All you're hearing is more money in your pocket. So do you think these developers, when they get told, listen, we got this algorithm and it caters more to the majority of people, which tend to be the less competitive players? Not going to say they're bad or anything. They're just not super competitive. They're casuals. They're games that I play that I'm casual on, right? If I went, if I go to play NBA 2K, which I don't play, but if I did play it, I wouldn't take the game very seriously. I would just play it casually and for fun, like a lot of other little random games. But the games that I do play competitively, I play them competitively, right? And like I said, if you tell these developers, hey, listen, you can either make 3 times this amount or you can make a third of this amount. Do you think they care how you feel about whatever or your grievances, or if you don't like the matchmaking process? No. They're going to use that algorithm that benefits them financially. And that's the thing, is that just like in Call of Duty, skill-based matchmaking was beneficial to the player base. I have friends that I played with regularly who were not that good at the game. They were extremely casual people. Hey, they hit me up, hey, Dark, are you trying to play, man? I just got off work. I'm trying to play. Let's jump into it. We'd play. I would host the lobbies. They would get a taste of what my lobbies were like. Immediately, everybody has headaches. Now people got to go. Nobody wants to play anymore. Then all of a sudden, they don't hit me up anymore. And you hit them up, they say, yeah, man, I'd love to play with you, man, but your lobbies are different, man, like completely different. I can't do nothing. And nobody enjoys that. Nobody enjoys just getting bashed into the ground over and over again. It's not a fun experience for them. In video games, I mean. People like to win. So there's a reason why skill-based matchmaking existed, because at least if people were getting a lot of eliminations, maybe they weren't necessarily winning the match, but they were feeling like they did something or it was really close, they have more fun. They feel more engaged. But if you throw them in with extremely competitive people and just getting absolutely destroyed, they don't want to play anymore. They want to play something else, or they want to go outside or whatever. And that defeats the point of them making the game to begin with, is if you're not having a fun experience and you don't want to play it. If you don't want to play it, you're not having fun, you're not going to spend money. Point blank, period. And that is the nature of free-to-play games, is that they need you there to spend money and be engaged and have fun. So you tell your friends that you're having fun and recommend it to them, and then they'll want to jump on and play, et cetera, et cetera. That's just how things work. That's the way of the world. I fully get it. But at the same time, it does feel, it doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel like how ranked used to feel years and years ago when I would play ranked. And it felt like you were just genuinely being lumped in with people that were actually on your level, right? Your teammates were on your level. The enemy was on your level. And it came down to just like that match I said, yesterday, where it literally, those are the matches I love, where it comes down to one mistake that I made personally, or one mistake that they made personally. Maybe I didn't use my healing ult to counter another healer's ult. Maybe, I was cloaking when I should have been daggering. You know what I mean? Maybe I was on the left side, position-wise, when I should have been on the right side. Maybe I advanced up a little too far and my team was backing up, and then I got left out by myself and got eliminated in a crucial moment where we needed everyone to be there. And it should have been a vice versa situation where we should have got a pick on them and then, a pick off of them and flip the tables or whatever the case may be. There's so many different things that I've had where I've had to learn and say, yo, don't ever do that again. That did not work. That was a silly decision. Just like in the last video I made, there are so many things that I've learned since that gameplay. I was in gold at that time, right? And since then, there are so many things that I could look back on that gameplay and go, I would never do that now. I can't believe I did that. Why was my positioning like that? Why was I doing damage when I could have been just healing this person instead, or vice versa? Why was I just healing this person over and over again, knowing they were losing that fight, regardless of how much they were being healed, when I could have just, shielded them for a second and then started doing damage as well, right? To the enemy player or whatever, right? Like there's just so many different things. But at the same time, though, there's only so much that I can do as one person. If I'm a healer and I have more eliminations than all the DPS, all the tanks, some of these people even combined together, I have more healing than both of the healers on the enemy team, and the one on mine as well, 3 times the amount of that individual. There's only so much I can do. And a lot of people might say, well, switch over to a tank. Well, if I'm playing a tank and I'm not ever being healed, but the enemy team is being healed all the time, there's only so much I can do. We'll go for the healers. If they're protecting the healers because that's what they should be doing. Do you get what I'm saying here? When you're playing against a team that is good, they're going to do things that are good. They're going to make good decisions. They're going to be smart. They're going to play tactically. They're going to do what they have to do, right? Or strategically. I mean, not tactically. This isn't Modern Warfare or anything. But you get the point I'm making, right? There's only so much you can do once you've reached a certain point. It's just what it is. It's as simple as that, But like I said, though, I'm going to wrap this video up. If I need to make a part 3, to talk further about whatever and kind of cover some other stuff, because like I said, I don't script these videos. These are more just me talking to you like you're sitting in my office, you're on the couch or something. I'm in my gaming chair at my desk and we're just talking, right? Like how I would have with friends, family, my wife, whatever, right? We're just having a conversation, so I don't want it to feel scripted, like I'm sitting here reading from a script for you guys and going, oh, I'm gonna cover this and blah, blah, blah. No, just talking to you. Just giving you examples of what an average day for me is when I load into rank and letting you know that some things I understand, completely my fault. Work on those things. That's the whole point of ranking up. And then some things, it's matchmaking, man. Like, and it happens way too frequently and in a row to just sit here and make me think that it's coincidence, right? After a couple of things, I'll say, it might be coincidence, right? Whatever. Not a big deal. After it happens all day in and out and I can start to predict it, it's no longer coincidence at that point. There's a method to the madness at that point. There is something going on. There's a machine behind the curtain, right? It ain't just the wind blowing. It's a machine back there pumping out losses and wins, So, but let me know in the comments, though, what you guys think, how you're feeling about it. Do pros coming out and saying that there's something else going on, does that change anything for you all? Do you all still feel like it's a conspiracy theory and that people are just bad at the game? Whatever you feel like, just let me know. As long as you can express yourself politely. If the people who want to come into the comment section and just start berating me off of an opinion I had, and me not calling anyone out or saying anything negative to anybody, bro, you're just gonna get muted. You're gonna be talking into the void because I'm just gonna mute it and move on with my day. I'm a grown man. You're not gonna bully me. You're not gonna make me feel bad. You're not gonna sit here and tell me that the things that I see on a daily basis, I'm not seeing them because maybe you just don't deal with it as much or something or whatever the case is. But if you want to have like an actual intellectual conversation where you can express yourself without having a name call and all that kind of stuff, I will respond to every comment like I usually do in every other video. So that's just what that is. But like I said, no, like half of those comments that you guys leave, they literally go into an automatic like spam and like a held folder that I have to go into separately, and I only do that like once a month. So a lot of times I don't even see those comments. So you're just better off like. And not to mention, once you comment on a video and you go back numerous times through the video, because in the last video, there was like probably like 20 or 30 comments where people were just berating my gameplay, and they would leave a comment, and then they would come back and comment and say, oh, at 132 you did this, at 5 whatever you did this, and at 10 blah 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 you did this, my brother in Christ, blah blah blah, and it's like, bro, you just watched my video numerous times and left numerous comments. Yeah, all you're doing is telling the algorithm that you enjoyed the content. The algorithm can't decipher like, oh, I really dislike this versus I really enjoyed it. All it knows is that you're engaging with it, and the more you engage with something, the more you're going to see that particular thing. And it may not just be my stuff, but anyone else who made a similar point or a similar video title or whatever. So. But like I said, either way, it benefits me. So, but like I said, I just, if you want to actually have a real conversation in the comments, I'm here. I try to respond to everybody, give everybody respect, through their opinion and their thoughts and stuff like that. So, but yeah, we're at 42 minutes here, which is, much longer than I usually cover topics for. It's just that this one, I find it very interesting and I feel very passionately about it because I really do enjoy Marvel Rivals. So, it is kind of irritating when you put so much time into stuff and then, you feel like the game just kind of goes, hey, well here, let's throw you 4 or 5 rounds where it's going to literally just trigger you mentally, and really just put a damper on your feelings for the game and stuff. So. Nonetheless, though, I'm Dark, and I appreciate you guys. Whoever listened for this long, you're a champion. You're goated. Pretty sure you're your parents' favorite child. So I'll catch you guys on the next one.